Hi guys, it's Star Talk, and today we are going to be talking about crime lords. Alright, the first one that we are going to talk about is Zero the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt's uncle, though flamboyant in dress and bearing, Zero was also cowardly and obsequious if cornered. Of to govern Jabba's illict operations on Coruscant, Zero leveraged the position for his own benefit. When Senator Amidala went to Zero's headquarters to see if he had any information about the kidnapping of Jabba's son, she learned that Zero had been working with Count Dooku and the Separatists not only to arrange the kidnapping and subsequent murder of the Huttlet, but to also place the blame squarely on the Jedi. So that's really it about Zero. Not a lot. He shows up in the Clone Wars a couple of times, then dies to Cad Bane. He dies on Nal Hutta. No, wait, he doesn't die to Cad Bane. He dies to Sai Snootless, who he thinks is his girlfriend or whatever. Anyways, on to the next one. This next one is actually a pretty old crime lord, about as old as Jabba. His name is Prince Exizor, and we're going to read about him. Alright. A top crime lord in the galaxy near the end of the Old Republic and throughout most of the New Order, he was head of the criminal syndicate known as Black Sun. Prince Exizor was also highly political and was probably the third most powerful individual in the galaxy. He schemed to supplant number two, Darth Vader, and possibly even taken over the Emperor's job at some point. Exizor was more than 100 years old, with the body of a well-sculpted 30-year-old, thanks to its crafting by Moistum units. A feline, Exizor was tall with a slightly elevated sharp reptilian ridge over his spine. His head was bald except for a long top knot and ponytail. Exizor exuded natural pheromones that made most humanoids feel instantly attracted to him. His skin color, normally a dusty green, changed with the rise of these pheromones, going from the cool into the warm spectrum of colors. Exizor harbored a particular hatred for Vader. About a decade before the Battle of Hoth, Vader had established a biological weapons lab on Exizor's planet. An accident let a tissue-destroying bacteria escape, so Vader ordered the city near the lab burned to ashes, killing 200,000 Feline, including Exizor's entire family. Exizor, who was off-world, destroyed all records of the family tragedy so that no one would know for his personal reasons for despising Vader and his pledge to avenge the deaths. When he heard that Vader was seeking Luke Skywalker to convert him to the dark side of the Force and that young Skywalker was Vader's son, he plotted to have Luke killed and Vader's plans thwarted. Exizor's huge castle on Imperial Center was only a short walk through protected corridors from Vader's palace. Every time Vader set foot outside his castle, Exizor had him under surveillance. Exizor had a number of legitimate businesses into which he funded much of the ill-gotten gains of Black Sun. The largest of these was shipping companies, Exizor Transport Systems XTS. Because attracting females was so easy for Exizor, he quickly tired of them. But he considered Princess Leia Organa a real challenge, although he was confident he would win her over with his pheromones. Leia initiated the contract of her attempts to find out who was trying to murder Luke. At their first meeting, Leia was indeed taken with Exizor's beauty, and she nearly let herself be seduced. But a spell over her was broken when Chewbacca interrupted their meeting and whisked Leia away. When she returned, she kneed Exizor in the groin, turning herself from a free will visitor into a prisoner. Exizor had his female human replica droid, Guri, take Leia to her locked room and then inform her that she was bait to lure Luke. When Skywalker, Lando Calrissian, Dash, Rendar, and Chewbacca broke into Exizor's castle through its lowest levels, the prince was at first reluctant to admit that his tight security measures could have been breached, but Exizor became convinced that his castle had indeed been infiltrated after Guri was bashed by Leia. Soon he came face to face with Luke Skywalker and a fearsome battle ensued. When Skywalker produced a thermal detonator, Exizor let the group leave unmolested, but not before Calrissian dropped another detonator with a 5-minute timer down a chute. Exizor escaped to his skyhook, Feline's fist, using his ship, Virago. But in a final confrontation, Vader ordered Exizor's skyhook retreat blown to bits, killing the prince. So Exizor was, about as old as Jabba, not as in age, but as in, lore-wise. Anyway, or no, he's not. He's close, but not. He's, a couple decades off. Well, anyways, on to the next one. Guys, this next one is Firth Olin. He's a Twilight crime boss, and we're going to read about him. Alright. A short time after the Battle of Endor, this Twilight criminal operated out of the empty palace of Jabba the Hutt. Jabba's majordomo, Bib Fortuna, had called him to Tatooine, but by the time Firth arrived, Jabba was dead, and Fortuna had had his brain removed and placed in a robotic spider droid by the Baramar monks. Firth, delighted in mocking and torturing Fortuna, who, trapped as a brain in a glassy globe, could do little to defend himself. Firth began extorting protection money from local food producers. During the hunt for the hidden Imperial cruiser Aeolon, he fled from Rogue Squadron and Imperial pursuers to Ryloth, where he was sold out to the Imperials by his clanmate Kazne Olim. Captain Marl Simpson took Firth back to Tatooine and double-crossed him, stabbing the Twi'lek. The wounded Firth was discovered by the disembodied Bib Fortuna, who took Olin's form back to Jabba's palace. There, in the still of night, the Biomar art of brain surgery successfully transferred Fortuna's brain into Firth's body and Firth's brain into the glassy globe of a spider droid. Well, at least Firth got a taste of his own medicine. Anyways, this guy's actually kind of interesting, and I like him a lot. Well, anyways, on to the... He's my favorite out of all of these guys. Well, anyways, on to the next one. Guys, this next one is Jabba the Hutt. You guys all know him. He's been in countless movies. He's been in 1 and 6. But you guys totally know him. Alright, Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Siligic Tyr. The son of a major Hutt clan leader and part of a long line of criminals, it was therefore no surprise that he became one of the galaxy's top criminal underlords. By the time Jabba the Siligic Tyr, known simply as Jabba the Hutt, was 600 years old, he was in charge of a major criminal empire. He learned well from his father, Zorba, who raised Jabba at his private estate on Nal Hutta. Jabba eventually moved to Tatooine and established himself at a palace built around an ancient Biomar monastery. The centerpiece was a huge throne room, where Jabba endlessly entertained and held court from his high dais at one end of the room. Jabba's criminal empire traversed the Outer Rim territories and, in fact, knew no bounds. It included sports, gambling, smuggling, glitterism, spice dealing, slave trading, assassination, loan sharking, protection, and piracy. The Hutt presence on Tatooine brought with it a huge influx of off-world traffic and crime. Jabba and associates such as Gardulla the Hutt hosted pod race competitions in the later years of the Galactic Republic, making Tatooine an unlikely center of attention. When the Clone Wars erupted, both the Separatists and Republic sought to curry favor with Jabba since he controlled the Outer Rim supply lines. To sabotage Republic efforts, Separatists kidnapped Jabba's young son Rada, framing the Jedi for the crime. Thanks to the efforts of Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano, though, Rada was safely returned to his father and the Republic secured a treaty with the Hutts. Jabba's seat of power was a constant den of conspiracy, as many wished to try to topple him from his throne to take over his empire. He had only one true loyalist, Effant Mon, whose life he had once saved. Another constant presence was Salacious Crumb, a wacky monkey lizard whose only function was to make Jabba laugh at least once a day. Jabba got most of his glitterism spice from mines below the Imperial Correction Facility on Kessel. Among the smugglers on his payroll were the Corellian Han Solo and his Wookiee first mate Chewbacca. But when Solo had to jettison a glitter system load to avoid Imperial entanglements, Jabba ordered him brought in. Solo met up with the Hutt after killing one of his bounty hunters, a Rodian named Greedo. Jabba agreed to let Han fly some passengers on a quick trip to Alderaan with a promise that the proceeds would be used to pay him back for the missing spice. Solo got involved in the Galactic Civil War. Then on his way to repay Jabba, he was boarded by pirates who looted his ship. At that point, Jabba put out a galaxy-wide hit on Solo, eventually getting him delivered in a block of carbonite thanks to Darth Vader and Boba Fett. But Solo's friends mounted a rescue mission. First, they infiltrated the Hutt's palace, then Luke Skywalker directly confronted Jabba. After Skywalker killed the crime lord's pet Rancor, Jabba ordered all the rebels to die a slow death by being fed to the Sarlacc at the Great Pit of Carkoon and the Tatooine Dunes. But Jabba paid the supreme price for underestimating the skills of Skywalker and his friends. As the fight erupted out on and near Jabba's desert sail barge, Princess Leia Organa, who had been put in chains in a skimpy outfit by Jabba, pulled her chain leash around the Hutt's neck, strangling him. So Jabba's kind of interesting. He actually has a lot of history in the Clone Wars and in whatchamacallit, and in the movies. He actually is in a lot of the lore, so thank goodness we have him. Anyways, on to the next one. Some of you guys might not know this guy. He was in Droids, so you probably might not know him. His name is Sisayf Ram, and he's one of the crime lords that we're going to be talking about. Alright. And only a powerful crime boss, he operated out of a stronghold on the planet Anu during the early days of the Empire. And Anudat, he ran a legitimate import-export business that was a front for extortion, kidnapping, and blaster running. He controlled most of the world by fear, having set a Trigon 1 weapon satellite into orbit around the planet. He wanted Thal Joben and his friends killed for angering him, and so he employed Boba Fett to kill them in the speeder races on Boonta. From covering all his bases, also planted a bomb on Jobin's speeder. When Fett made his attempt on Jobin during the races, he activated a magnet in order to draw Jobin nearer. However, the magnet dislodged Fromm's bomb, and Fett was nearly destroyed. In his anger, Fett captured Sisay Fromm and his entire gang and turned them over to Jabba the Hutt. So that's really it, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. I will post a new video tomorrow on Wednesday. You guys, I hope you guys had a good day at school, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.